Hi guys, Philip here, and in this tutorial I'm going to critique myself. Yesterday I recorded about 10-15 races where I'm doing in-play trading. This is a skill I'm trying to refine, and as you can see here I did about £130 profit. I had a 100% strike rate yesterday on my in-play trades, so I recorded all of them, but I've separated a few here that I want to dissect, and I want to basically critique myself, because when I rewatched them, I could clearly see so many mistakes I was making, and that's the beauty of always recording your trades, because you can see all your flaws. Okay, because it doesn't matter how good you are, you're always going to see mistakes you're making, or things you missed, or events in the race that you missed, or that you could have taken advantage of. So it's so important, guys, to always critique yourself, record your trades, and look back. And you can clear as day see exactly what you did wrong and where, and also what you can improve on. Okay, and so as always, guys, please don't nitpick, because that's what I'm doing right now. Okay, so so it's a case of, when you're trading, particularly in play, there is nothing you can do every single time that works like a charm. Every race is different. Every click is different, because you're emotionally involved, and you're only human. And when you have 4, 5, 10, 15 horses running, your attention goes back and forth, because you cannot physically see everything and react to everything. And every single trade, I can think back and spot at least 10 things I missed, or I didn't notice, or I didn't react fast enough, or there was a problem with the feed, or I'm watching a feed that is like 4 or 5 seconds delayed compared to others. So there's always something working against you. Okay. And so, with that in mind, I'll now go ahead and tell you what happened in this race here. So you can see by my ladder, I've got Tropical Island, Star Lore, and Esquire. Okay, I choose 3 horses that I have on the screen, and those are the ones I pay attention to. I make a note of which stall they're in. I make a note of who to look out for. That way I can sort of hone in my focus. Okay. And so in the initial stage here, I didn't spot anything that caught my attention. You can see the prices are basically completely flat. Okay, so there wouldn't have been anything I could do there anyway. And as we're here, I'm just waiting for something to happen, right? Now with a 6 furlong race, there's not really much that can sort of happen as such. But I've got my eye on the Esquire that's running right at the front. Okay, he's running right at the front there. Okay. And we'll notice now is that as the race progresses, and as the Esquire horse is at the front, the price crashes in quite heavily, even though he's not really winning, right? You'll notice here in a second, the price comes down to like 1.5, and you can see right now that he's not really at the front, is he? He is, but he's got 2 on the right and 1 on the left, so he's obviously going to be contested. And I lay the horse, and I'm using the global settings there to offset that, and I take the profit immediately. Okay, 1 click, boom, boom, in, out, done. Okay, because there was basically on this one here, there was too much left of the race for the price to be that low, when there was still 2 or 3 horses on either side of that horse. Okay, that's simple, in and out. This one here, I thought I did really well on. Okay. And so for the next one here, you can see I've got my 3 ladders selected, and my focus turns out to be on the yellow one in the middle, the Arabic Legend. Okay. And in this one here, I actually make quite a bit of a mistake, but it doesn't cost me anything, because luckily the lay price was so low that I only lost my profit. Okay, which is totally fine. And so you can see here as they go off, I don't do anything in the initial stages. In hindsight, I should have laid the Arabic Legend, because you can see he's kind of starting off in the back there. Also, right now, as they're racing, right this second, right now, the commentator are commenting on the fact that Arabic Legend, in the yellow in the middle there, is running a bit awkwardly, as you can see. You can see he's almost riding sideways, his head's tilted to one side, and I don't react fast enough. It's only now, boom, that's where I go in, when I should have gone in way earlier. Okay, because you can see he's running a bit awkwardly. Okay. And so that could have easily been like a £10 profit there had I gone in at like 3.5 or something. Okay, but I didn't. And so, at this stage here, I'm just watching. Okay, I'm watching. I'm not reacting, because you can see the horses are running fairly sort of evenly, as it were. But in a second now, you'll see that the Arabic Legend. You can see the jockey is there. See how he's nudging along already, and he's not moving forward. He's being overtaken. At that point there, I should have laid that horse again. Okay, I should have been reacting faster, but I wasn't paying attention in that way because I was looking at the other two horses. And here you can see, this is where I make a mistake. I go on the lay side on the favorite here, way too low on the price, because you can see he's actually steaming ahead now. The problem there was, for me, I was looking at the price. I wasn't looking at the actual race. I wasn't looking at the horse. And had I been looking at the horse, I could have seen that he was pulling away faster and faster and faster, and I shouldn't have laid there. Luckily, because the price is so low, all I lost was my sort of £2 or £3 profit that I got earlier from trading on the Arabic Legend. Okay, so no harm, no foul, but that was a mistake on my part. And in this race, my focus is on stall 6, okay, the yellow horse, the Chicago Critic. And as they go off right now, I think that the yellow horse is at the back, because I see one horse going in front of it, and I jump to conclusions, and I go on the lay side. I misjudged that because it's actually at the front. Boom, there you can see, oh crap, he's at the front. So I then quickly scratch that trade for a small loss, completely fine, and I then go on the back side instead. In hindsight, as I'm looking at this now, I reacted way too slowly. Why didn't I go on the back side immediately? Because he was at the front, as you can see, or in number 2 place. So I go on the backside, and then I wait for the price to come down 2-3 ticks, so I can reduce that £2 loss to a scratch, basically. But had I gone in at 3.55 or 3.6 where it was, then I would have had a very nice profit right now as well. But no harm, no foul. You can see there, I scratch the trade, so I lose nothing. That's totally fine. And now my focus shifts to the third horse there, Chemistry, the third ladder. You can see there, boom, see he's on the outside, and you can see the jockey's already nudging him along. So I go on the lay side because he's nudging him too early, and that means that he's probably struggling, okay? And also because the horse at the front are running really well. So I do a quick lay trade there, as you can see, in and out. I'm using the global settings, and I get a nice £5 profit there. Okay, and then for the rest of the race here, I don't really spot anything. In hindsight, right now, obviously I should have laid the Chemistry again and again and again, because you can see he's not running well. But again, that's just with hindsight, because my focus was elsewhere at the time, right? But in hindsight, I should have laid the Chemistry horse again, because it was clear that he was running way too hard too soon, and he was struggling. And for the next race here, my focus was on Arrogant Castle and these other two horses here, Whiskey Pete, and I'm puzzled. And at the start here, you can see that Arrogant Castle is sort of in the middle of the pack there. So I go on the lay side because he hasn't had a fantastic start, so it's an average start. But you can see the price doesn't really go up or down, it just kind of sits there. So I immediately go, okay, you know what, I'm just going to scratch this, because I don't want to be in this too long, because it's only a mile race. Okay, so scratch it, get out, and that's it. Okay, so in that sense, I thought that I did quite well there. Okay, because I managed to get out in time, and you can see the horse is still in the back there. And this one here, I could have sort of hung on and waited, but I'm quite happy that I just got in and got out. I recognized that the price wasn't moving on the lay side, so I got out. Okay, so in that sense, I thought I did well. And but here I do something a bit more reckless. My focus is still on the Arrogant Castle. You can see he's in the back there, and he's not running particularly well right now. But I noticed that he starts running better, and he starts making a challenge. As you can see now, he's moving forward. He's passing one horse, he's passing the second horse, and the price comes down. But at this stage here, you can see he wavers off to one side here in a second, as you will see in a second now. See there? He kind of wavers off to one side there, and the jockey controls him, but I go on the lay side here. In hindsight, that was too risky, because the liability is too high, given that he's quite close to the front. Okay, but at this point here, I was looking at him very, very closely. I could see that he wasn't making headway. Okay, and in fact, you can see me here cancelling my lay bet. See that? Boom. Because I was so honed in on the fact that he wasn't running well, so I was hovering over the lay bet, or the back bet, to cancel it, so I can take the full profit on the lay side. Okay, but when you actually if you look at my liability there, my liability was too high. Okay, it was not worth the risk, because obviously with horses anything can happen, right? And when I look back at that and I think to myself, Philip, that was too risky. My liability was too high for a race that wasn't, it's not a certain thing. And my job isn't to try and predict who's going to win, is to base my bets on what's happening on the race course, okay, in terms of the reactions of the jockeys, the horses, and so on. And so that there for me was too risky, okay. And I'm going to try not to do that again. But obviously, hindsight 2020 at the time, I felt I was in control, and that is why I was hovering over the cancellation button on the back bet, because I knew that I was going to cancel that if the horse didn't do well. Also, in hindsight, I should have waited until the price came further down, because the horse was running better, and I noticed that, because that's why I noticed it, because the price came down a bit. I should have waited another 4 or 5 seconds for the price to come further down, so I could have taken a much, much, much better price on the lay side and minimized my risk. Okay, so that's why we've done differently next time. Okay, so at the next one here, Hexham. My focus turns out to be on the middle horse here. Okay, I believe it is. Yeah, so you can see here, the middle horse kind of just goes off on its own and starts just racing, just boom, forward, right? But you can see there's also a short price favorite at 1.7 in this race. And in a few seconds now, you'll notice the Dagon Cloud here takes off, and he gets like a sort of 4, 5, 6 length lead, and he's doing really well. And the price obviously comes down, and I start laying it, okay? And I start going the lay side, mainly because of the fact that the short price favorite is not far behind. And you often see this. You often see one horse that just zooms off into the distance, and sometimes has like a sort of 10, 15, 20, 30 length lead, and still loses, okay? And so, watching this right now, I'm thinking to myself, why am I not scalping more? I just put one scalp in, and that was it. Right now, because look, it's a 2 mile, 4 furlong race. There's miles to go yet. And so right now, I should have been going in and out, like a one tick scalp, in and out, in and out. But I'm just sitting there looking at it. Okay. So why I did that, I was just being too cautious. And so in hindsight, I should have been much, much more aggressive here, because obviously the price is already very low at freeze. And with so long to go in the race, there's no reason at all for that price to come down and down and down and down, especially when you have a short price favorite hot on his heels, right? As looking here now, I could have easily made 10, 20, 30 pound profit here by scalping in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out, with a sort of a downward bias. So I would have steadily brought my next late trade a bit lower, a bit lower, a bit lower, because you can see the price is coming down slowly but surely, but I could have easily scalped out. Particularly now, right now, because you can see the other horses are now caught up with him, and they're now basically matching stride for stride, as it were, almost, right? And so right now, at this point here, I should have been much more aggressive on my laying and just scalping in and out. So, it's now been like, 2 minutes? And it says here, I could have easily done sort of 20 or 30 scalps. And there, I'm only going in now with my second or third scalp, right? So why I wait so long? Again, I was just in the moment. I was focusing on different things. I was overthinking it. And I wasn't reacting fast enough. That's simple. I wasn't reacting fast enough. And now you can see, as the race goes on, and now they're obviously coming right next to him now, the price of the Danger Cloud slowly increases and increases and increases, right? And I'm mostly keeping an eye on how they're jumping, particularly the favourite, who's jumping in the back there. That last jump, he didn't do particularly well. And so you can see his price is going out. And again, why didn't I lay him? I should have laid him as well, right? Because whenever a horse jumps that had a bit of a stumble or not a good jump, then the price always dips out a few ticks, right? And again, I remember vividly watching this, and I noted in my head there, the favourite didn't jump well there, and I didn't react, right? And now you can see the favourite is now making a move. It's coming up towards the second horse. And now the price will start drifting on this Danger Cloud, okay? And again, why am I not scalping, right? Why am I acting so slowly, right? I only acted right there. And as now you can see as well, if you look at the horses where they are, you can see the shadows. You can see right now 2 horses, they're side by side. And the jump, boom, same time, right? And now the Danger Cloud's always being challenged. And again, why am I not laying it? right? I'm not. Even though look at the price, it's still stagnant around the threes, right? And so I should have been laying there much heavily. And now as the race progresses here, you'll notice now that my price got taken, and I only got a £1.90 profit, right, for all that. And the whole time I was just kind of sitting there, just looking and overthinking, and I wasn't acting fast enough, because in the back of my mind, I was thinking the price is going to come down, when I should have been thinking, yeah, Philip, it will, but it's a 2-mile race. You got lots of time, okay? And and so that's the kind of main thing for me. Now, one thing I do here, I noticed that the favorite there didn't jump well, and right now he's falling behind. And look there, boom, he's been pushed along. And I do jump on the lay side there on the favorite very briefly right now for one quick scalp. Right, because you can see he's being pushed along. He's struggling a bit there, right? So I go in and out with a very quick scalp here, which I'm quite happy with, because that was a good execution on my part, I think. But I was way too slow. I should have done it earlier. Why didn't I do it the second I saw it, right? Because I saw it much earlier, because obviously now the favorite comes back and he's back in the game. So that could have been very risky had I left it any longer, right? So in hindsight, I should have been much faster, because I saw it much faster. But you can see, if you replay the video, I saw it early, but I didn't react. I didn't actually place the bet, okay? So had I waited even just at 2 seconds longer, that would have been very risky for me, because that would have meant I would have had liability, and I would have lost that small profit I already made. Okay, so again, reaction time, right, is always about confidence and reaction time. I'm too slow, I'm hesitating, and I need to be more aggressive from my point of view, from what I saw there. Okay, so the next one here, my focus is on these 3 horses: T Clipper, French something, and the Emir something. And again, you'll see me in this race here just being way too hesitant. I should be going in and out scalping far more aggressively, because it's 2 mile, 7 furlong race, and it's hurdles, which means that it gives you plenty of opportunities to scalp off, because every horse will have different periods where they're jumping well, jumping badly, and so on. And looking back at this here, I'm just being too passive. Okay, so with that in mind, you can see that number 12 there, which is the 3rd ladder on my screen, goes off to a good start, whereas the French Paradon is right at the back. Right, see that? You can see the green's at the front, and the red one or orange is right at the back there. Okay, so this one here makes sense for me to go and lay the French Paradon. So yeah, I lay the French Paradon first, because you see that one's actually going back in the pack there, but the price hasn't gone out. So I'm laying that because, again, the price there, it won't come in, put it that way. It's only going to stay there or go higher. And again, looking back now, in hindsight, I should have now had like a 1-tick offset and just gone in, out on that, on sort of either a backing or a laying bias. Okay, because 2 mile, 7 furlong race, that price isn't going anywhere. Okay, and if you look at the screen now for the next 30 seconds, next minute, you'll see the price stays there or goes up. Okay, and again, I need to be much more aggressive on that kind of thing. And you'll see now that the Emir Sacre, he's jumping well and running well, and I start laying him in a few seconds. If you look at the middle one, the French Parador, again, see the price hasn't moved. So had I been in there and scalping, then it would have been, I would have been in sort of 5, 10, 15 pound profit by now. So you can see I finally laid the front runner there, but my entry point wasn't very good, as you can see, because I laid it too high, and so I go in again for another lay there to start offsetting that. Because again, it's quite a long race, loads to go, and you can see the other horses have now caught up with him. The reason why he jumped down in price was because he had a really good jump and he got momentarily further ahead there. And you can see now it's only now that the French Paradon is moving up, and the price is coming down slowly. Okay, and so now this one here, seeing that he's clearly making a move, right? He's gone from last to second in the space of like 15 seconds. So this one here, again, I should be laying harder on the Emir Sacre horse, okay? Because you can see he's now being challenged, and the price is reflecting that. And I could also be going on the lay side of the French Paradon because, again, they've still got a bit to go here in this race. And so I should be going on the lay side of both of those, just for a few, like a 1 tick offset or a 2 tick offset max, okay? Because they would be bouncing up and down there for a little while. Or I could have shifted my focus to one of the other horses, like number 1 or number 4, and scalp those guys because they're in the back somewhere, okay? But obviously, I can only have my attention on 1 or 2 horses at a time. So again, same criticism. I'm just sitting here waiting. I should be scalping. I should be going in and out much more aggressively, because the prices aren't going to come down. They're not going to shoot down, okay, unless a horse falls. And so again here, I'm just sitting, I'm watching, I'm waiting when I should be going on scalping. I think it's because I wanted to wait until my scalp on Emir Sakre got taken, which it has been now, more or less. There we go, boom, it's been taken. And I got a £5 profit, which is great. And so in that sense, five quid for 5 minutes of work, that's fine, right? But it could have been 15 or 20 or 30 pounds. That's what I'm trying to get at here. And now you can see here, they're all jumping fairly well. They're all quite tightly packed. And again, why am I not scalping? Right now, they're obviously coming towards the last few furlongs here, and now the prices will become much more erratic. But you can see some of the horses in the back are starting to struggle a bit. So I could have been shifting my focus to one of those. But I kept my focus here on the first 2. And now you can see that the Emir Sakre has lost his lead. And here, what you're looking for is you're looking for weakness. You're looking for the signs of the jockey pushing the horse along. You're looking for the jockey riding much harder and bumping his bum on the horse, right? And you're looking for that because that usually signifies that they're struggling to keep up, or they're looking to make a push. Either way, it's a sign that this is a good opportunity to lay. Okay, and again here now you can see the price of the Emir Sakre has actually gone up quite a bit, and this could be a good time to go on the backside because it's really, really high. It's like the price is up to 18.20, yet he's at the front. So there I could have gone in with a quick back bet because you can see went back down to like 5s. So that in itself would have been like 20-30 pound profit right there, because he has been running quite well. However, at this point here you'll see that the Emir Sakre horse is being pushed along, but the horse in the middle there is just kind of cruising, right? You can see that? He's just kind of cruising along. He's not really being pushed. He's just like, whereas the Emir Sakre, as you can see, he's clearly struggling. And at this point here, you'll see Emir Sakre makes a bad mistake on this horse jump here. You can see that. You can see if you replay that, you can see he stumbles. And even the commentator is like, wow, that was a bad mistake. And so I go on the lay side here for £10 because you can see he's completely fluffed it, and all his speed is gone. And obviously, the horse I mentioned before in the middle there, the Stolen Silver, he's looking so strong. Look at him, like he's only now being pushed along, right? You can see that. But if you rewind it and go back, if you look at Stolen Silver and how he was running, he was so confident. He was just like just running along, no bother, and that's why I decided to lay Emir Sakre when he made that mistake on that last jump, because I can see he was done, his legs were gone, and that's why I did that. Okay, so overall I'm happy with this because it was like a 10-15 pound profit, but I need to be more aggressive. I need to be far more aggressive on these longer races because the prices don't move as much as I fear or I think they will, so I need to be more aggressive on the lay side. And so I think we'll wrap that up for this video here, otherwise it's going to get too long. And so I hope you enjoyed that, guys. And as you can see here, I'll scroll through my trades here during this session, so you can see at the bottom here. Okay, that's all the various profits I had on today's trading. So I traded 19 races all told. Most were fairly uneventful, like what, £1, £2, or £3, or I had a £50 profit and a £24 profit and so on. Which is really cool. And yeah, so when it comes down to, guys, trading on Betfair, it's a tough one, right? Because things fluctuate so drastically and there's no rhyme or reason to a lot of it because it's purely based on what will happen, which makes it very hard to predict. But once you understand how horses, the fluidity of horses move and so on, things become much more easy for you to read, as it were. So I'm just adding in the rest of the races here to this calendar, so you can see I haven't deleted anything, okay? All these here are profits. I haven't deleted any races, so I added them again there, so you can see that's all real and above board, okay? So guys, as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again for my next video. I'll try and do my best to help you out and help you move forward to become a better trader, okay? Cheers.